It's Tehachapi time. Key Budge, Maya Acosta, Greg Garrett joining us today. Police Chief Richard Standridge. Rich, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, we had a city council meeting. We like to recap and go over things, and there was a lot of things that occurred within the police department. That's why we've asked Chief Standridge to stop by. But Greg, the meeting kicked off. We have a new council member.
We do. So Hannah Chung, she's actually a former employee, retired. She was our chief financial officer for many years. Hannah was responsible for, structuring our budget early on so that we can have a 5-year outlook, and a key employee. And then she retired, and she wants to remain involved in a very positive way. She lives in the city of Tehachapi, married with a couple daughters, and we're really happy that she put her hat in the ring to become a city council member. She was actually the only one, and the city council, of course, selected her. We want to welcome her back to the team, if you will, but in a different capacity. She's not an employee. She's a city council member. So she's part of the governing board for the city of Tehachapi. So congratulations, and thank you to Hannah Chung. And, we continue to be very transparent in everything we do, and we're excited to have her join the team.
Yeah, it was nice to see Hannah, and she's a longtime resident, member of the community, and I think in her words, she's happy to serve the city that she loves.
Right.
So it's always nice to hear.
Right.
So,
and I think everybody knows Hamed Jones, who's our not new anymore. Hannah retired a couple of years ago. I haven't seen her in a long time, but she brings us apples every once in a while.
Right.
Her husband is an apple farmer here in the valley, and during Christmas time, she'll bring us some apples at City Hall here. But really happy to have her come back and join the team in a different capacity.
Yeah. And then we rolled right into just an incredible night for the Tehachapi Police Department. So, Rich, let's brag on what's going on at TPD. There's a new culture, a new energy at TPD, and you kicked it off with promoting from within.
A lot of great things going on at the Tehachapi PD. As everybody's heard me talk about over the last few months, we've done a reorganization. We've actually split the department into patrol operations and support services. So with that, we have promoted 2 lieutenants. Both of them were from within, and I couldn't be happier. Both outstanding individuals. We promoted Lieutenant Jason Dunham. He's been with Tehachapi Police Department since day one of his career, over 17 years, brings a wealth of operational knowledge. The guy's street knowledge and handling of patrol operations is second to none. And so I seized on that opportunity, made him a lieutenant. He's now in charge of the operations division. And we have Justin Rupert, who was promoted by the previous chief to the rank of sergeant. And so for the last almost year, I've been able to observe him, challenge him with some projects and some different things within, and the cream rose to the top. And I promoted Justin Rupert to the rank of lieutenant last night as well. And he is in charge of our support services division. So I'm very fortunate to have 2 individuals who have strengths in different areas, and we're going to watch them grow and see where they're going to take this department in the next few years.
We're very fortunate to have the talent in-house. A very competitive process. There were several people that applied, but the 2 that were chosen couldn't be happier.
No, it's outstanding.
They're just, you've got to have a command structure, a management structure, so that the community, the city, the citizens, the employees of the police department, they understand, what's going on, the values, and how we can continue to do our community policing and keep Tehachapi the safest city in Kern.
Correct.
And this falls, as you talked about the restructure and adding that second lieutenant position in this change. And then whenever you have inward promotions, it just adds to the positive culture of an organization. So within the city, in your department, just seeing that movement, because when you have a small agency, there's not often movement in certain areas. And here you were able to elevate 2 of your medium supervisory staff into and more executive administrative level of supervision.
One of the things when I got hired here, I made a commitment, and that was to create opportunities within. And I think we've been able to do that. We're going to continue to do that. We have some plans moving forward as far as the next 18 to 24 months for some different things. And I think the public's going to be real happy with the product and the service they're going to get out there on the streets by the people we're going to put in the positions of leadership within the organization.
And then when you make that, have that inward movement, it creates that ripple effect. And I anticipate you'll probably have potential openings for that mid-level supervisory role, sergeant.
We will. In the next couple of months, we will have 2 sergeants that will be promoted, as well as a senior officer.
Okay.
You know, in Key last night, there were several of the rank and file and dispatch that attended the meeting, and they were you could just feel the positive energy in the room. It wasn't fake. It wasn't painted on. They were very proud of the promotions and the other elements that we're going to talk about in a second. They came up front. They got group photos. You know, it was just a really positive environment. And that's what you want in every culture. And especially at a police department, right? These guys carry badges and guns, and they're protecting us. And you want them to feel like they are being supported, and there are opportunities from within the department.
Exactly.
Well, law enforcement's one of those unique career paths where there is a fraternity, there is that sense of family, and because
a brotherhood.
When you step out, to go on duty, I'm trusting that Chief Standards has my back and I have his back. Mm-hmm. As every call for service, you have no idea what you're going to encounter. So that tightness and working together, it just shows. You could see the strength of the team.
Yeah.
Well, I've said it publicly and privately. I'm going to die on this hill. We're going to keep Tehachapi the safest community, the safest city in Kern County and the entire region as far as you can see. We're not going to let Tehachapi go the way of other communities around us. And it's just not going to happen. And it's the fact that there's just, underscore it. And, it's a big deal. We must keep our communities safe.
Well, and exactly with what you're talking about in the broken window theory, if you will, our code enforcement department is very strong. And Chief Standridge, once again, our code enforcement department.
Talk about keeping our city safe and the way we want it. Segue right into code enforcement. It begins and ends there. So last night I was able to recognize Tony Benelli for his outstanding work as employee of the quarter, as the code enforcement / level 2 reserve police officer for the department. And those in the community that know Tony from a code enforcement aspect have come to respect his work because Tony is a educate first and cite second type of guy. And he's done a good job working with our local business owners and citizens and gaining compliance and code and helping keep our community pristine, just the way the citizens deserve and like it. And he also helps do backgrounds. He works sporting events. He transports prisoners. There is nothing this guy does not do for the department. Every agency tends to have 1 or 2 people like Tony. And I'm thankful Tony works at the Tehachapi Police Department. And I know Mayor Pro Tem Pogencord laughed at me last night because I talk about having more than one right-hand person. And I will tell you, Tony is that person, not just for me, but for the city in general. He worked closely with community development, public works. Everybody in the city appreciates and values the work of Tony. And law enforcement, a lot of times we're so forward in our operations that we forget to take a moment and recognize our people. And I'm working hard to make sure that we are going to recognize good work when good work is done. So we'll be hearing more of this, but Tony was the first of many and well-deserved.
And
Right.
And he's a reserve police officer as well, so he fulfills multiple roles.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Mr. Benelli.
Absolutely,
well deserved.
And I've worked with Tony when I was at LA County. He was the city of Palmdale. Had the opportunity to work side by side, and he takes his job serious, very well knowledged, and so I was not surprised, when you made that announcement.
We have some amazing people at TPD.
I mentioned that last night, talent. There was a lot of talent in that room.
That's
absolutely.
For the department.
Dedicated to this city.
Absolutely.
The emotions were high, and you could feel the dedication to this city.
Now, you mentioned talent, and then let's segue right to the next. To get through a police academy is not an easy task. As you and I both remember, there is a lot involved. It's basically 6 months of boot camp, and you're still trying to manage your family life and things. But it's a lot of hard work and dedication, and you've got another one that rose to the top.
We did. We hired and swore in Officer Christian Laverne last night. He'll begin field training today. And so Christian, we hired, this is the first foray for the Tehachapi Police Department into hiring outside and sending folks to the academy as a fully paid employee. So Christian actually has been on the payroll for 9 months. We had him for 3 months working for us in a variety of capacities, training, fitness, study, helping do projects around the PD while at the same time doing ride-along. So he's had a full schedule. He went directly from that to 6 months in the Kern County Sheriff's Office Academy. They allowed us to have a couple of spots down there, and we were fortunate to hire him last night and swear him in. And I will tell you, Christian's a local Tehachapi resident, and he bleeds Tehachapi blue, and this is where he wants to be, loves this community, and we look forward to getting him out there and serving the public.
Very proud of Mr. Laverne. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Maya, you were kept busy with all the photo ops that we took, because this doesn't happen very often. So we made sure we took a lot of photographs last night, directing the traffic, but overwhelming the amount of officers that we had and staff trying to get them into the photos. That's probably one of the largest groups you've had to photo since you've been
family
here.
And friends,
Yeah, all the
and
family.
a lot of support.
It was
a lot of
overwhelming.
support last night.
It was a full house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to bust out the fancy feature on the iPhone where you can expand it out because there were so many people.
There's a fancy
picture.
feature that you can do that with?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you can make the room look
like
bigger
a
than it is.
portrait.
Kind of.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Show me later.
I will.
And it was nice to see, as you mentioned, the family. And then one of the family members, Justin's father, was there, who I worked with back at LA County, Kim Rupert. And it was nice to see him there. And I could see that proud moment of father and son that we were able to snap that special photo.
It was very special, but you think about, if you're an officer, it's not just you. It's your family that is, participating in that career also, right? It's like the military, right? If you don't have the support at home, then you can't do your job well. And so thank you to all of the family members and the friends that support that person that works for Tehachapi Police Department.
Oh, absolutely. Lieutenant Dunham's mother and father were able to attend, wife and children. Retired Sergeant Rupert was there last night to attend, and it was a pleasure. I got to finally meet him in person, and he came up and met me as the chief, which is great. But actually, it was nice meeting him because he actually did 33 years in this career, and that's an honorable thing to do and a difficult thing to do. Mm-hmm. And so it's always nice to meet those veterans.
And they're ingrained in the community. Their families, the school, the church. Churches, and they're just part of the fabric of Tehachapi. And so thank you to the support staff.
Absolutely. It was great.
Support
great
staff, support family.
It was a great night.
And then, Rich, while we still have you here, let's go towards, you had another moment a little bit later in the council meeting. We were taking care of some of the business.
Correct.
On the police side.
Well, I was able to ask council last night to authorize the purchase of 5 new police vehicles, 3 of which have been on order since 2021. So they've kind of been rolling from budget to budget to budget. And Ford finally built them in February, and they showed up a lot earlier than we anticipated. So we needed to buy them now.
Earlier, but a lot later than we hoped.
Correct. Correct.
Oxymoron there.
And then we purchased 2 Ford F-150 trucks, which is going to give us some flexibility in the fleet to be able to haul things, move things, and do some different aspects. Especially, we get some weather issues and things here, and it's just nice to have a pickup to go to if we need to get some stuff shuttled from one place to the other. And so council allowed me to purchase those last night, and through Measure S funding that the taxpayers approved, and it was just a great night overall, and I can't wait to get those vehicles here and get them on the street serving the public.
For sure. Yeah. Congratulations on that. Thank you for working towards the purchase of those.
And I'm glad you talked about Measure S, because that is one of the things, Greg, we're always talking about, making sure that we're paying attention to what the community tells us they want. And part of that was maintaining infrastructure and public safety. And there was a shining example with new officers, the reorganization within the police department, and that command structure all set for public safety and following what the community had asked us to do.
That's right. So thank you again for the voters supporting City Hall with Measure S, voting yes. But, police vehicles are not cheap. There's $250,000
Correct.
worth of vehicles and, and the outfitting of those vehicles also. It takes money to protect this community, and we're spending that money exactly the way we promised we would, and very proud of that.
Now, we had some other items that were on the council agenda.
Yeah, a couple other items. I would say, call City Hall, call me. We had some things with public improvements and those things where the city engineer, accepted those. You can always look at our agenda on the website or receive the email. But in the beginning, we had just another quick bit. The Honor Flight, they came, there's some representatives from Honor Flight, and then we had a resident of Bear Valley Springs come to the podium and thank the city council for their $13,500 donation towards the Honor Flight. Very exciting there that we can continue to support. We're talking about police here, but the military, they're kind of intertwined, if you will. They're protecting our country or protecting our city. So it was a little bit, that we could do there. So we want to thank them for thanking us, but not necessary. Of course, that's not why we did it. But it was a great meeting, and so we encourage people to stay involved and continue to monitor what we do and how we do it. It's your city, it's your money.
Yeah, it was nice because Nancy, who said, I'm from Bear Valley Springs, but when I heard, what city council had approved, it was moving to her.
Yes.
And she just wanted to publicly, she goes, I wanted to write a letter, but then she goes, no, just let me do it in person. So it was very nice. And Rich, you're a veteran. So, I mean, is there any kind of a sense of that with what she shared, what transpired a couple of weeks ago with the Honor Flight donation, what does that mean to you from that veteran side?
Yeah, it resonates, to be thanked for your service of being in the military and serving the country, because it's a huge sacrifice. And I will tell you, I've attended a few veterans events, and I'm also a new member of the VFW here in Tehachapi. And this community is so pro-veteran. I couldn't work in a better place. Coming from Porterville, I thought they were pro-veteran until I got here. And it's very moving. The veterans really appreciate the opportunity to go back to D.C., and it kind of gives them some closure. It's outstanding.
And I know that Councilmember Joan Pogencourt, who had been on a previous Honor Flight, she talked about her personal experience being able to be attend in a support role. And so it's just, for me, it's one of those, it's emotional to hear the stories of our veterans when they share it, but I think it's just so fitting that we're able to honor them and allow them this because of the sacrifices that all of our veterans have made. So, Greg, has anything else that we want to touch on before we wrap things up?
I don't think so. I think this has been great. So just a quick snapshot, but really encourage people to call, email, or text me or come by.
And then we've got other opportunities with Coffee with the Mayor, our walking groups. You're welcome to, stop by one of those events and just ask us questions. We appreciate the fact that you connect with us this way and listen to the podcast. You can also email us at media@TehachapiCityHall.com. So Maya, Greg, Rich, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks. We'll catch you again soon right here on Tehachapod.
This is Tehachapi.